What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be previewing round 2, Port Adelaide versus Essendon at the Adelaide Oval this Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. It's a twilight game, so it's going to be one of those day-night games where we're going to be starting in the day and ending up at night, if you didn't know that already. But essentially it's going to be a ripper day. Beautiful conditions are set for the Adelaide Oval, and the crowds are back at the Fortress this year, so 40,000 maximum capacity, 75%. So I can't wait to be hearing Never Tear Us Apart, not giving in as we enter the ground for the first time at the Adelaide Oval in 2021. It is a big game though. We are playing Essendon, who are coming off a 1-point loss to the Hawthorn Hawks last Saturday night, which they were up by 40 points at one stage as well, but unfortunately choked it in the last couple of quarters. It's going to be interesting though. I'm sure they'll come out red hot and ready to go. Orazio's old mob. So let's get into it. Let's preview round 2, Port Adelaide versus Essendon. Let's kick it off with a good news story of the day. Tom Jonas has extended his contract for another year, extending it to 2023. So the captain is going to be around for a couple more years yet, which is a very, very good sign with his investment as captain and also into the club, because he must know we're going places, and I think everyone can feel that vibe at the moment, and hopefully in the next couple of years we can bring back a couple of cups for him, because he's been a wonderful captain and definitely has set the example as a leader and also as a player. So look forward to seeing him develop even further as skipper, but also taking this team to places it deserves to be. So that's very, very good news, and it's good to see that we're having these contract extensions for certain players as well, because we need them. We need this core, and Tom Jonas is a big part of that, and he's done a super job with He's done a super job with the young talent, as well as bringing the elder cohort together as well. So big congratulations for Tom Jonas. I mentioned in the intro, it is Port Adelaide versus Essendon. It's Orazio Fantasia's old mob. We obviously tried to get him for a couple of years now. Finally landed at the club for pick 29 at the end of last year's trade period. And now he's coming up against his side at the Fortress. So he'll be in front of the Port Adelaide fans for the first time. And Never Tear Us Apart has come out this week and said it's going to be better being on the side of Never Tear Us Apart instead of being an opposition player. And I think it's going to add a bit of spice to this game, him being on Port Adelaide's side, especially with the crowd right behind him. They're going to get into him. I know the Essendon players, and a bit of spice in this one could elevate the game, I reckon, because we're expecting Port Adelaide to come out and really be a dominant side across the board this weekend. And the last time we played against Essendon was at the Adelaide Oval, and we ended up winning by 50 or so points in the wet. So interesting it's going to be to see how Essendon tackle Orazio, and I'll be looking forward to seeing Orazio's output on the day. I reckon he'll be in for a nice couple of goals as well. So I look forward to seeing that contest throughout the day. It's going to be something to keep your eye on if you are a Port Adelaide fan, as well as an Essendon supporter, and just anyone watching the game in general, really. It is the first game of 2021 at the Adelaide Oval for Port Adelaide, back in front of the fans. This is something we've been building towards. Obviously, at the end of last year, with the two qualifying, with both the finals of the qualifying and the prelim final, with 26,000. This is a twilight game. We're expecting 75% capacity, which could be anywhere between, I reckon, roughly between 30 to 35,000. I reckon we'll get on Saturday afternoon. It's twilight. It's the first home game of the year. Port Adelaide sitting top of the ladder. I reckon we'll get a good output of a crowd, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the dynamic works between the pods and the exiting of crowds, and how it all mixes in, because it's going to be a different vibe for sure, but also it's going to be, I reckon, very entertaining to be back, sitting next to people. A lot of people will be back in their original seats they had before COVID hit, which is something I'm very excited for as well. So it's going to be a fascinating day across the board, both on and off the field. A few game notes to take away as well to think about this one for your tip. I'm thinking that overall, Essendon are hard to read. I'm not quite sure exactly how we're going to look at them and how to approach them. I know you're going to approach this game 100% like either you're playing the top team or we're playing like someone like a North Melbourne. You can't expect anything less than a victory for Port this weekend. But it's hard to read Essendon and how they're exactly trying to face this one, because I think Port Adelaide overall are pretty solid across all parts of the game, attacking, defensive. We know how good we can be and are when we flick the switch. Essendon, I think one part of our game that will flutter a bit is if we have a lot of pressure applied to us. We saw that with North last week, bringing pressure in the first quarter, and it brought a very intensive game. So if Essendon do bring the heat, I think we'll be well aware of that. Last time they brought it early in the wet, and then eventually we just broke away and continued. We had that one good quarter. One good quarter is always the start of the kill. We'll have a good second quarter, which seems to be the trend over the last couple of years. A good second quarter seems to give us in good stead, and then that's it. We just set the template for the rest of the game, and the opposition just simply can't go with us. So it's hard to read Essendon, but I think they'll be well aware of what they're coming up against, and I no doubt expect a fight early on. It's going to be a beautiful 22 degrees, a little bit of a rain shower in the morning, but that won't affect anything to do with game day and the fans getting to the game. And speaking of people getting to the game, make sure you're in your seats early, because Brad Ebert and Justin Westhoff, who did retire at the end of 2020, will be doing a lap of honour around the Portress this Saturday at around 3:30 p.m. So be in your seats. Let's send off two greats of our football club who have given us so much throughout the AFL and have been wonderful servants of this club. So make sure you're in your seats if you are going, and give them a well-deserved round of applause, because I can't wait to be seeing those blokes. They deserve everything that we give in terms of gratitude and appreciation. So I'll be very much standing on my 2 feet, clapping away, saying goodbye to Brad and Westhoff, because they've been wonderful. Let's talk selection. Now, look, there was talk about Connor Rozee coming in. It was announced today that he's officially been ruled out. He won't play this week. He was about 90%. I was listening to him on the 5AA show with Rowie, that he was saying that he was about 90%, but 10% of the wound hasn't quite healed yet. So another week, probably best. Come back against West Coast, who are going to be a quality opposition over there in Perth. It'll suit him a lot better to give him an extra week. There's no rush with Connor. There's 22 games in a season. We don't need to be rushing him back for round 2 against Essendon, who we should beat. So the selection, I'm thinking one change. Bonner out with his hamstring injury, and in comes the vice-captain, Hamish Harler. A straight swap. Simple as that. No, not too much discussion at the selection table this week compared to last week, which, good luck with that. But the sub-wise, I'm not sure exactly what will happen. I think Rocky might start this week, and we might see someone like a Kane Farrell start as a sub this week. I just feel like overall it might be a bit more of a pig type game, and Rocky might be needed. So when he came on, he had a good impact, I feel, last week against North. So that might be something to look at. Not 100% sure how they'll work out the sub for this week, but that might be a little bit of an insight there. Time for my tips. I'm thinking Port by 34. I'm not expecting a smashing. I'm not expecting something like we saw last week against North. I'm thinking it'll be a closer game than we think. It's just got that feel about Port Adelaide, first home game in front of our fans. There might be a few mistakes here or there, a bit nerves, bit of a jittery atmosphere, and I think Essendon will bring it to us. I don't think they're going to show their poor form early on as we go later into the season. I think they're going to fade away a bit, but they've got some great young talent, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that pans out. But I think Port Adelaide by 34, I wouldn't mind a 70-point dropping. Don't get me wrong. It'd be good to get a nice early percentage buffer in the season like we did last year, but 34 points seems about right. Charlie Dixon might go a bit berserk like he did last time in the wet, so if it's dry, those hands are going to be like glue. Well, there you have it. That is my review for 2021 Port Adelaide versus Essendon. Round 2, big game Saturday. I'm very much looking forward to being back at the Adelaide Oval with all my friends. All my friends that I sit with that I haven't sat with in about 18 months. Just can't wait. Can't wait to be back and cheering on the boys loud and proud with my mask on as I enter the ground, and all these COVID protocols I'm going to have to follow. Doesn't matter. I just want me bloody chicken schnitzel burger that they sell there, because it's goddamn amazing. But I can't wait. It's going to be a big game, and we're back home, baby. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content coming your way across this 2021 season. It's a big week this week, so I'm very much looking forward to it. My name is Anthony, and as always, can the pair.